East Coast.
One of the Carolinas.
I've been a full-time youth ministry for 13 years. 7 months ago, my wife and I took on a new youth ministry position in a city in the church that we were familiar with. We were told that the youth ministry had hit bottom and they needed someone to revive it. We took the challenge and moved. When we got here, we found out it was not just the youth ministry that was in decline, but the whole church. In the past couple of months, I've been getting lectured in staff meeting, about an hour each meeting, letting me know that the reason the church is in decline is because of the youth ministry. I've been told that I need to turn the youth ministry around so the church can start growing again. Everyone else is pulling their weight. I am not. I can't do that. If I can't do that, they'll replace me. Now, since I've been here,
we've gone reading my journals.
Since we've been here, we've gone from 17 to 34 at our service, and that was not good enough. Is this a situation that I can win in? So he's doubled, and he's saying, can I even win here? I feel like I'm basically being set up to take the fall for the church's decline, which started way before I got here, so they can fire the new guy rather than 3 other pastors who have been here for years. I'm not sure what to do. I do not feel I can move on because we have been at 2 different churches in the past 2 years. We left the previous church after a year because of the workload. It was a multi-campus church, so I had 2 youth ministries. I was also put in charge of the children's ministry on both campuses, and attendance was higher when I preached on Sundays, so they had me preaching 3 Sundays a month. It was so time-consuming and hurt our family, so we left.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave again and have 3 in 3
No,
years.
it sounds like
that's tough.
No, well, or you got to learn at picking better. I mean, that's a part of it.
Well, that is a piece that let's not talk about to him for just a second, but to everybody else that was listening, I was thinking, and also I'm the dad of a 24-year-old youth worker too, and I'm going, I want her to hear these stories as well, because I think there is a piece where you go, I need to learn from other people's pain and mistakes, and so he just checked out. You're moving your family. If you're moving your family, you better do some thorough investigation on, that church and. Unless you just feel like, without a shadow of a doubt, God has called me to go, and you have the type of relationship with Jesus where you clearly hear His voice. I just think you got to go and ask the right questions. So now back to him.
I would say a little honesty here would go a long ways, because if you really have doubled the youth ministry from 17 to 34, it's not what they're talking about. The youth ministry is doing really well. So I think you need to bring that to the attention of the people that are saying that and say, here's the deal. The youth ministry's doubled. Things are good. We actually have a little momentum cooking. You're saying just the opposite. So here's the numbers to prove that it's not true. Now, how do you feel about me being employed at this church? And what's the real issue? Because it sounds like the numbers thing is an excuse and they don't want to tell you the truth. There's something about you, your leadership, something they don't like. I'm not making they up as a little vague, I understand. But numbers is what they're saying. It's not true. There's another reason.
Yeah, and 7 months is plenty of time to find that out, too.
Absolutely. And they don't have enough integrity to tell you to your face, so they're kind of using this as like a the hint. And you could get the hint, and it might not be repairable, but at least get the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say turn the they into a he or she. Like go after the one person who is leading this. Is it somebody on the elder board? Is it the elder board putting pressure on the senior pastor? And that person, I would want to know not what a group of people think, but what the person I'm responsible to or accountable
who's making the decision.
So, but honestly, we've talked about this before. There's been, over the last 2 years, there's been times in here I've been teared up and just sad over situations like this in my own ministry. And I know I asked the direct questions. I had a cute little spreadsheet that had history and when I showed anybody looked at it would go, yeah, no, this is great. This is amazing. After 16 months, wow.
Right, heading in the right direction.
But for whatever reason, the person I reported to and the senior pastor, well, this isn't where we need to be, and so this is no good. Well, where do we need to be? Give me a date, give me a number, and they still got nothing, and so that's. My learning from this.
So based on what Josh is saying, do you think it's you? Could
my
be,
situation now?
Yeah, because you're really, the way you just described it is almost exactly like the numbers have improved. Look at the deal, but they're saying that it's not enough numbers. So do you think if you took Josh's
that there's something else?
Yeah, that it's you and they don't want to say it.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps that's always. Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that because you're
seriously. No, I think there is a degree of that. I mean, I think. I don't know. I mean, that's just one of those ones that you can only. I mean, I know my flaws. It's like, well, pick one. Which one is it that really drives them crazy? But the thing that.
And by the way, I don't believe that to be true about you. I was just curious what you thought, because I think the reality is they had such high expectations in the turnaround.
With that, but they were
the turnaround didn't create
17
numbers.
to 34 is really 17 to 75
in his situation.
Exactly.
So Matt's gone 17
you got 34,
but they're now saying it would have been great to have 75 or whatever.
And you sent an article around to all of us, or whatever, just a couple of us, or maybe it's just to me because you love me the most. But an article from Michael Hyatt saying, "Hey, how do you learn from a bad boss or bad situation or something like that?" And he had gone through all his lessons that he's learned through the 100 years he's lived or whatever. But I'm trying to take learnings from this and go, okay, how do I lead as I move forward? And the problem, the difficulty, the thing I don't want to do, I think unclear and uncommunicated expectations. Okay, yeah, that sucks. If you can take the time to think through your expectation and communicate it, you should. But in some situations, maybe you haven't thought about it or felt it. You're in new territory. You don't know what to expect. I think unclear, uncommunicated expectations isn't the big problem. I think the big problem is being really disappointed, and so it takes a year to figure out what you want. Well, don't drop the hammer because you didn't get it. I don't know if maybe I'm speaking to McGill language right now. I'm looking at you guys and you're kind of looking at me like I'm not making sense. So I don't know how to make it any clearer than that.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to this.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe I need to think about it more.
So, I wasn't really paying attention.
It was good that you were passionate.
I'm freezing.
I know. My fingers are still.
It is cold in the garage. Hey, well, one thing I
could nibble one of these things off and I wouldn't even feel it.
One of the things that I was thinking about this guy that I think is a learning for everybody is that as I read this, there was nothing about him in here. It was all everybody else. This situation and the past situation. And I think if he was here right now and we were having this conversation, I could say to him, okay, so what is about you? Where do you feel like you might have let people down a little bit? And I'm sure it would be there. And because there's always two sides to every story. But I would say for all of us leaders, as leaders, I think we have to have people in our life who help us hold up the mirror and go, okay, so what could you have done different in this situation? And
Had Doug be my youth pastor for me.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
I agree.
There's no easy answer. For
three in 3 years. Yes, there's a stroke of bad luck or whatever, but that's a tough one. The next people looking at that are going to be looking really critically at you because that's a tough record.
Yeah. So maybe the point is have an honest face-to-face and what do I need to do to turn this around? And if you can meet those expectations, great. If not,
and maybe this is just what comes with the territory.
Yeah. Well, there's some hope.
Well, I was filled with hope, but you guys totally shut me down.
I didn't
know what you were saying. Raise your hand if you understood what Matt was saying.
Yeah, spacing out.
Nobody, I just looked up there.
But it was passionately delivered, so well done.
Yeah. Passion points.
Please do not use my name.
Roger.
East Coast. My senior leadership has made a decision to use this.
I think we should play a game real quick that he names out states and we have to say Midwest, East Coast, South, just to see who does the best.
You know what? You've already kind of taken this from an A to a B.
No way, you kidding me?
If you could be
no way.
focused-
There's no kinda. It's definitely.
Yeah, if you could be focused and just relax a little
Who do you
bit and
think
not make
knows
this
the
about
states?
you. Okay. My senior leadership has made the decision to use the student ministries building for an adult video venue service at 9 a.m.
Adult videos?
Yeah.
Adult video doesn't mean adult video porn.
It doesn't?
No. You guys,
Please don't use my name.
The decision was made while I was on vacation, and I found out the senior pastor announced it in the staff meeting. Once he
I love
realized
that.
I had not been talked to and saw the reaction on my face,
He was
I
like,
was
"What?"
brought into his office and given a sincere apology, which I appreciate.
Oh, good for them.
I do believe he was sincere, although I know my feedback would not have mattered. I talked to the executive pastor about my concerns. The 9 a.m. service ends at 10:15, and the youth services start at 10:45. Tight turnaround. I'm concerned the building will not be cleared out and set up for the students before they come in. I'm also concerned with unbackground checked adults being in the building with 5th to 8th graders. Also, the youth band practices at 9. They said that ministry takes precedence over practice. I'm told that the decision has not been written in stone, but the senior pastor just announced it from the pulpit this weekend with no heads up to the executive pastor, me, or my ministry leaders. The announcement was justified because he didn't say youth building. He said one of our big facilities. The youth building is the only other big facility. I was just told 2 weeks ago the senior pastor wants me to have our preteen and junior high ministries during all 3 of our services. We only offer them during the 10:45 service right now. I questioned the executive pastor about this, and he said I would have to have those services in the trailer, which is our adult discipleship facility. I told my direct report this isn't right for adult ministries to push student ministries out of our facilities into adult facilities. I feel like this is a pattern of leadership. The senior pastor does what he wants, regardless of feedback, makes announcements that no one is prepared for, and then we have to do damage control.
Is this guy's first year in ministry?
I was gonna say, welcome to youth ministry, man. This is a book right
Any
here.
suggestions?
Yeah, suck it up.
Really? Really?
You're not gonna give sip it up in our family. We like to say sips.
Here's exactly what it is.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh,
before
boy.
you say
Here we go.
You wouldn't say no. I'm giving you the meatball pitch. You wouldn't say sometimes you have to be a team player, and this is probably one of those times.
Well, considering you repeat everything I say, I can see why you would say that. But here's the deal. I read this, and I go, it's just...
It sucks.
It is just another example of, the youth ministry is...
Ugly stepchild.
It is. It's like, let's kick the kids out and make it happen. So
Group the tithers.
I think we just have to, that's part of the territory. Like, so if you're a football player, you're going to go, you know what? I'm going to get hurt on Sundays. And I think as a youth worker, there's a piece of that you go, okay, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much history you have. It is, the kids are always the easiest ones to move out of the way. So there's a piece of me that just continues to grieve
those situations.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying don't suck it up. I've just been in this situation 100 times. I was out back 18 years or 15 before we had buildings.
Yeah.
We were,
Shuffled
really, pretty much by the time we
corner.
built the building, I left.
Well, remember they changed. They built this awesome tent. It had insulation. The sound would have been okay. It was huge. And 2, 3. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage Unfiltered episode 207. And we needed to have recorded right before because Matt just said something that he didn't realize. He was telling a story. He didn't realize how inappropriate it was. It wasn't inappropriate.
It's unbelievable.
And then Griff says to Katie, I can't believe you said that in front of Katie. And he goes, I didn't mean it like that. And Katie said, you've said much more inappropriate on purpose. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 207. Doug Fields here with Matt McGill, Katie Edwards, and the Queen's host
of Hearts.
Josh Griffin.
The resignation episode?
I don't know why.
The last episode.
This is
This is a great song, by the way.
207 podcasts that
Really?
we've done. We want to thank our sponsors, U Specialties, our primary sponsor. Speaking of which, Katie, they've got Planet Wisdom, and YS Palooza events.
Both of those, either or.
That we need to promote. I'm going to be in Chicago.
Done with that commercial.
YS Palooza.
And I'm going to be in Chicago at the YS Palooza on
That's kind of a mouthful
March
of a name. What
2nd and 3rd. And they're doing another one in Philadelphia, and I don't know those dates right offhand.
I don't either.
Josh just
yeah.
and
Look on
Planet
the
Wisdom.
website.
Anyway, we love you specialties.
Yeah.
Thank you for being our primary
sponsor.
sponsor. And Youth Ministry 360, Azusa Pacific University, Remedy Live, and Leader Treks.
There you
And
go.
We have things written out for all of them as well that we'll talk about in just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
when
Sorry,
it
Seth.
gets a little slow.
I would have given it my all. but-
Speaking of, we should just write them right here so you don't have to turn around and look. Yeah.
I know
It's
which
a
ones
little
they are.
It's a little
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's
unprofessional.
fun to it's almost like a wall of fame back here. People that
Speaking
love us.
speaking of Wall of Fame, we have
we have one on our website.
We have one, and Seth is gathering last names. So if you're on the Wall of Fame and you haven't sent us your last name yet,
Please do.
Please do. If you're a rewinder, same thing. We have just a little bit of what we like to call. What do we like to call this? We like to call this
Well, we don't know what
house
you're talking
cleaning,
Housekeeping.
family.
That's what we call it.
Family works, family.
Team
Here it is.
team huddle.
There's a
include the team out there?
great question from James on preteen ministries, and he put it on the blog. And I just want to remind people to go to our Youth Ministry Garage blog.
There's a
and,
blog?
and help answer questions and weigh in. We need you. If you're part of a network, send that to us at what is our email address?
Go on the site. Yeah.
Go through the website.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh,
And
we
it's-
don't
and
have
it's Youth
one.
Ministry Garage or YM
Youth Ministry Garage.
Youth Ministry
Ooh,
Garage.
that's
so-
right.
Yeah.
They can't submit a question until we steal their information.
Yeah.
Seems like a good
Yeah.
trade.
And then also we
America.
talked. We were together last night, Katie, without you, which we never like
It's
those.
a new show we just started.
We never like those nights.
No.
We were just talking about maybe people should write in this new 2013. Seth has got a bunch of ideas that he's threatening us with about making the podcast
What about
better.
Seth is threatening.
And we thought maybe other people who are regulars, Hall of Fame people, rewinders, they could write in and say, "Here's what the show needs." Like if they were boss for the day, here's what the show needs.
Oh.
There you go.
But they better be good ideas.
A
or we're
new
gonna make
girl
fun
or
of
a
them.
new host.
Yeah.
They say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
Sprout.
A new girl.
Right.
What if they would?
Wow.
Yeah. What if they would say replace everybody except Matt?
Well, that's what
Well, that's not gonna
several would say
happen.
anyway. But we also, here's one of the other things we talked about, Katie. We're springing this on you for the first time. Is we were talking about what if we did a Youth Ministry Garage webinar? Like,
I don't know what that is.
it would be a
It's like
training.
a seminar on the web.
Yeah, it'd be a training. Like maybe it was for everybody's volunteers, and we each took. What if we each took like a 12-minute training, and we did a little webinar together for our.
Are we just having our little meeting right now? Is that
No, I'm
what's
just
going
saying
on?
to the people that are
would that
part
be
of our Youth
helpful or
Ministry Garage
useful or
community.
whatever?
Yeah, would you be interested in that?
We
Something
would
really.
put some extra work into it.
We'd make it really nice.
Yeah.
We'd really
Save
low
some
cost,
time.
like $29 or something like that, and
Yeah.
you give a code to all of your volunteers, and they would have access to some
Yeah, or just post it on your blog, and all your youth worker friends get to steal it.
whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Depends if you want to go to bed at night.
It was good.
All right, Kyle Reed from Shawnee, Kansas.
All right.
And I like the
With
fact
a C
that
or an S?
you don't care.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Very into spelling.
Hey
The
team, as a young 23-year-old youth worker in my first year, I want to say thank you for your amazing insights. I'm about 5 episodes away from being a rewinder.
Oh, wow.
My question is, what are some of the special events or teachings that you have done for seniors and or their families before leaving for college?
Ooh, good one.
I like that.
Good question.
Especially from a 23-year-old thinking that way so far in advance of graduation. I like that.
Yeah. Not much from the sound of things.
Who wants to start?
I think that there's lots of great stuff, and I think to be thinking about what I like about this question, what I like about where you're at in Shawnee, wherever, is I like that at the beginning of your ministry, you're thinking about how you're going to send people off. And that is a very, that's very cool. That's big picture thinking. That is, I think that's strategic to begin with the end in mind. And so even just you asking this question is really great. You know, whatever question what's up?
This is so encouraging.
Affirming,
That's sweet.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Man, wow. To turning on, I got a new watch.
New
This is what it is. I've had this watch for 3 years.
Brand new.
So,
Keep going.
Yeah, you just
Sorry,
affirmed
Lee.
him that he's...
Yeah, so it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think you're going to come up with an answer that however you answer this, it's going to shift over the years. You're going to make changes, you're going to make adjustments, and that's totally great. I think if I were to nail it down to two things, encouraging those graduates to find a place to serve wherever they go off to college or wherever else they go to land, that they could get involved in their church and just not be a consumer and someone who's sitting there and soaking and souring, but they're actually doing something to serve. I've heard that somewhere.
Instead of sucking.
Yeah, just sucking. I don't really like
Stop.
to use that word. My family will use the word sips. But the other thing I would do too is what do you laugh? What's that?
Nothing. Really.
Going.
It's hard enough when I don't get
Rich.
interrupted.
Coming
This is
out,
rich.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say is personal spiritual disciplines that teaching kids, even if it's twice a week or 3 times a week or something, that they are learning to grow on their own in their faith. That not that they're independent of a church and don't need corporate worship, but if I had only 2 goals for sending a kid out, I would say serving and learning to grow on your own.
It's good. They could have read chapters 8 and 9 of PDYM and got all that. In the amount of time it took to answer that question.
When I get interrupted, it's just
Wow.
so
No, that was really good.
And one of the things that we started to evaluate this year, we haven't done it yet, we're planning to do it this semester, is even take some of our senior small group students to another church or two to visit and begin to have some adult level conversations going, is this the type of church that you're going to find, or what are you looking for when you pick your own church? Because what we're finding is even our core students, when they leave for school and they're in a strange town and all this, college life, finding a church becomes really difficult. And that's for our most core, most hard dedicated
Jesus to plug into.
Right. So I think it's a wise idea to go out, get some other experiences, have some great conversations about it, and see them develop that before they leave the nest, and then hopefully when they get out there, it'll be easy.
That's cool.
Is there
That's a
like
great
a
idea.
parent piece to that too? Like just helping your parents maybe that are graduating seniors for their first time. I know you're about to graduate your 3rd senior. Like, is there something that parents need to be encouraged in that way too? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, probably not by him as a 23-year-old, but I was thinking there's probably somebody in your church who is maybe of my age that has gone, I've been through this before, so let me encourage parents. Here are some learnings that I had. Maybe they make themselves available for a little, either a Sunday school class or a post-church, graduating parents deal. I like the idea of a blessing, that the youth ministry bringing the seniors together and giving them a blessing and sending them off, and just like you would do with incoming freshmen or incoming junior high students, kind of you're painting a picture of what you want for them in their youth ministry years. You're also painting a picture of what you want your graduates to do. Obviously, serve, to develop habits, to get involved in a church body. I think those are all great answers. But I love the blessing idea. And a lot of what these kids could learn, they could learn if they came to the student leadership conference. And so my turn set. Yeah, there's an exclusive Youth Ministry Garage discount if you register before the end of January.
That means nobody else is going to get this.
It's already $125. This is $99 rate.
Which is
There you go.
ridiculous.
Exclusive.
And the website is SLC.
If you're going to go that
2013.
low, there goes my per diem.
You have to email Jana to get it.
Oh, you have to email Jana to get it?
Yep.
You have to email Jana at dougfields.com.
No promo code?
That's the promo code.
Email Janet is the
Email Jana.
That means, because it's only for the Youth Ministry Garage people, because the price has already gone up.
Price is already up.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's just for the Youth Ministry Garage people.
That's
So
exciting.
Jana at DougFields.com.
Yeah. How's that?
I love it.
Hey, this is David Gaddy in Burlington, North Carolina. I'm just going to answer, and we're going to move on to another question. David, here's what I'm going to say.
I'd like to vote on that.
Love the people. His pastor's leaving, wants to know, pastor's leaving in 2013, what should he do? You can't go wrong by loving the people. You're going to be put in a unique spot with people gone, they're looking for leadership. Just love on them during that time. Here's a question about whether, and we've answered this before, but that doesn't keep us from every once in a while recycling some
There's only so
questions.
many questions in youth ministry. Really.
Is there so many? Do you have the number?
I don't.
Probably like
But
nine.
I think we've answered them over 207 episodes.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny, and we're going to start getting to them after this next one, is we have got about 6 in a row that say, please don't say my name. Because I thought as I was reading these today, that should be the name of the episode. Please don't say my name. But here, this one here, Ted Northrup, we can say his name. I'm a full-time youth leader in a ministry previously run by volunteers. For trips and events, they use our small church budget to pay their own way. Do we do that, or do we build the cost into the price and the students pay? What's normal, acceptable? At previous churches, I've always seen leaders pay for themselves. Thanks for all you do. Let's quickly go around and say what we think they should do.
Are we all the same mind?
No, it doesn't.
I would say either way absolutely totally works. Asking people to sacrifice a little more, it works. However, I would prefer to add it to the student cost. If leaders are already sacrificing so much, vacation time, etc., I'd say build it into the student cost.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
All right.
We
There
are
you
all
go.
the same mind. All right.
Yeah.
But
now,
there's no right or wrong. I'd like to agree with that too. That Griff said.
yeah.
I
But
agree with
here,
everything
let's also say that in all of my years of youth ministry, the majority of the time I've done it that way. But there have been some times, like a guy's trip or something like that, where you go. We've had more volunteers wanting to go than we actually have spots for.
As we auction them off.
So we say, hey, here's the deal.
No.
You know,
You can go.
you can go, but we need you to pay for this,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
spot.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden you go, okay, people are willing to pay. Let's pay.
Right,
and
let's do it.
Well,
Yeah.
and
use that
maybe-
other money for scholarships. or something.
Establish some of the bigger things that you're going to say. These are the ones that we're going to, these 2 things this year are the things that volunteers we're going to cover the cost for. When we do these smaller events like the roller rink or whatever that costs like, I don't know why I said roller rink.
I know, roller rink. I
But
need to see how
whatever.
much you know roller rinks cost right
You know
now.
what?
What's
84
wrong
was
with
great.
Globe bowling, yes.
But if it's like $10 or something like that, I think those smaller things, I think that's
What's
okay.
it called now if it's not a roller rink? What's
Well,
it called?
do they even have roller rinks anymore?
They have roller derbies.
My membership card says.
Yeah. Seth is a member.
Card carrying member, Indiana Roller Rink Association.
I don't know, a sporting
Yeah,
event
all right.
that's cheaper. And maybe
Speaking
some
of-
establish maybe the few that you're like, these are the ones we're going to cover,
But,
and then the other ones.
but the
not.
big picture principle
Yeah.
is that we want to value our volunteers.
Absolutely.
And so we want them to feel like, thank you for your sacrifice.
For
And even
sure.
if we even say something as simple as, Matt, thank you so much for all you give. We got this trip covered for you. Just want to
Yeah.
say as a way of saying thank you. Use that to,
Which I would
Absolutely
say go
affirm
again.
and
Per diem?
encourage.
you would. Always about money.
Always about.
This is from Joe Halderman, who basically just wrote in. He was responding to something we did on episode 203 about the difference between Jesus and religion. He was just commenting on that, but then he said, thanks for all you do, Doug, blah, 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 first 2 years, PDYM, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for your contribution being a lifer in youth ministry. And I thought, okay, Josh,
yeah.
Lifer.
let's talk about that. Because
Interesting.
Josh had an interesting blog on morethandodgeball.com. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Speaking of money, I just think, I don't know, I was just thinking about it, woke up going, who cares if people are a youth ministry lifer or not? I think serve in youth ministry as long as you're called to it, and then serve like a youth pastor wherever you go, wherever your title, however your title changes, wherever you end up in church, whatever.
Where did that come? Like, who made you think that it was better not, or whatever, to be a lifer?
That's what I asked.
I just-
before, and
Oh.
these guys looked at me like I was.
There's no specific person, but I'm just envisioning the literal pressure that we put on people to stay in youth ministry, where in their heart of hearts, they need to actually be released of that to go on and do, but they have this like guilt of like, oh, I know I don't want to use this as a stepping stone.
Who puts that guilt on them? Who's the we? Like the youth ministry man?
No,
Yes, the man is
Which the
suppressing
youth
it.
ministry man is basically these two guys.
Well, so what I thought was,
That time you admit it.
what I wanted to do was as
mogulship.
as a lifer who I have no intention of leaving ever whatsoever. I want to say it's okay if you are incredible. There's a
So
reason.
as the man, you'd like to give people permission.
But see there. But there is a time though. Let's go back. There's a time 5 years ago when I was still on staff there, and we talked about what if we were able to take over the weekend and do the main church services and program and things like that. And you'd have left youth ministry for that.
For the perfect thing with you, yeah.
But
Sure.
I think the point, what I appreciated about it was the point is, go be a senior pastor, but be a youth worker at heart.
Absolutely.
Go do whatever you need to do, but be a youth worker at heart and love on teenagers.
Once you go be a senior pastor, don't tell your youth guy everything to do as if you know everything.
Exactly.
How do you know you're a lifer until you're at the end of your life?
See, I was telling him
good
that.
Way to
word.
bring a little logic into it.
Well, I said to Griff, one of the things that's interesting to me is I'll meet like a 26-year-old or something who will thank me for something and go, I'm a lifer. And I'm a lifer in youth ministry. Which I get it. I mean, when I was 20,
3 years in,
the last 13
when
months,
I was 20 and I
you've been-
proposed to Kathy, and her father said, "What are you going to do?" I go, "I'm going to be a youth worker." But I wasn't like I'm going to be a lifer.
It was a badge of courage.
No, it was more like
Badge of courage.
I haven't thought beyond being a youth pastor. I think I'll probably train youth workers at some point, but there you go. And I just think it's funny when sometimes people go, I'm a lifer, and they've done it for 3 years, which, that's great. But
at the same time, I'm committed to my marriage for life.
yeah.
And that was a commitment I made 16 years ago. And I could have said that when I was 3 years in, or today. It's still true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
your marriage is quite a bit different than
Your
I
logic
understand.
breaks down that into a youth ministry.
I understand. I'm just saying you can know.
Because you could go to another woman and still be committed to Angela. What are you saying there?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
are
skip
you
that one.
flip-flopping your opinion on life, or what's happening?
No, I'm saying if you're a lifer, awesome. I think we need more people in youth ministry for the long haul.
Lifer
If
in
not,
heart, or
But it's
lifer?
okay
both
to
ends.
try different types of
but
ministry.
if you step out of youth ministry, always be a youth pastor.
I just thought it was an interesting post. I didn't say it was a good one.
Well, here's the thing. I woke up because I set that post to go out at 6 in the morning or something. When I woke up, I had 5 texts, 3 emails, and 4 comments of people either going, "I totally disagree," or "Man, I needed to hear that. I am heading
you
out."
wrote something that people disagreed with.
One guy. But I mean, he really disagreed
My
with it.
pseudonym.
He really disagreed with it, though, because he was saying, no, you don't understand. You are young in youth ministry, because there was a time when youth workers were 6, 9, 10 months, and they were out. We need all the lifers we can get. So, and I understand that, and I appreciate that history, but that's not what I was
He
saying.
was having his own conversation.
Exactly.
All right,
Anyhow.
we're going to begin the Please Don't Read My Name.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
This
Lightning
one is
round.
from
Speed dating.
Let's make up names.
This is from Missouri.
Henry.
And I've been the youth pastor in my local church for almost 7 years. Last May, our senior pastor left, and our new senior pastor finally arrived in December. With our new pastor coming and the season feeling somewhat chaotic, I did not receive a Christmas bonus. This is the first time I've not received one. I'm not sure if this was a board decision to not give out bonus or if it's just forgotten about in time of transition. I don't want to be selfish or stingy, but I'm wondering if I should bring it up to church board or a new senior pastor or just let it go. My real concern is for the children's director, who is part-time and barely makes anything. I know the bonus is a huge help to her since her husband is out of work. Part of me wants to ask the board to simply help her out. What are your thoughts? I like the question.
That's nice. I like it, too.
Let me back up a little bit. What I was thinking about,
You didn't really go forward, so you
I had a pause. I had a pause to kind of thank Jesus for our podcast, because I thought, as I was reading, please don't, I thought how cool that people are going, okay, I might be able to get some help, and I can't go anywhere else, or it feels awkward, or something like that. So anyway,
That is
All right,
cool.
so put it into gear here.
I would say
pause.
to this person, I would find out for sure that not everybody got one, that it wasn't just you. That was my first thought. Seriously.
So gossip.
No, I'm just saying. Hey, did you get a bonus? I think there is
lie about yours.
Potentially some potential confusion with the senior pastor being gone and a new one coming. I think you're fine to ask somebody on the board that you have a conversation with and just say, hey, I've been here 7 years and we've never gone without a Christmas bonus. Was that an oversight with Joe coming on?
Not that I expect it, but you can't help but kind of expect it.
But I wouldn't play the card. My personal deal is I wouldn't play the card of the children's
ministry director. I wouldn't either. I would just talk about you and see what's up.
Yeah, it's all about you, buddy.
No, but just ask in a loving way, I think.
Yeah, because it won't come off as if you're asking for that person.
No matter unless true or not, it won't matter.
Yeah, unless your best friend is on the elder board and you say, "Look, dude," and they would trust you.
Or if you offer your bonus to them as well, or something. But even that.
But I think when you have a conversation like that, and then you're asking for somebody else, I think people can see through that it's you. You're asking for yourself too.
Well, and if you're not,
so it comes off weird and not.
Even if you're not, you are.
No.
Perception is reality.
Right.
Just
perception.
You want to know for you, and then you'll know for her if whatever he says. So.
Yeah. So we should send this person some money.
We're going to send this person from Leader Treks, Leading Youth Ministry by Doug Franklin. This is for youth workers. It's a whole thing on evaluating the effectiveness of your youth ministry. Speaking of which, Josh.
No, I'm the one that has it.
Oh, you have it?
Oh, yeah. I've got Leader Treks.
Great. Go.
Yeah. Well, our fabulous sponsors over at Leader Treks, they have something called the Refuel Retreats. That's right. And you know how many bullet points I have to read here? This is unbelievable.
Do it. Go.
Just do it.
You don't have to read them all. Seth didn't.
Just do some of them. Refuel will always be fun, which is weird. How can you say something's always going to be fun?
They know, dude.
What if it's...
Well, these guys have wanted to go every time it's mentioned.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be fun.
Yeah. Movies are always fun, too.
Always.
Yeah. Movies are always fun. Statica?
Except for
that was fun.
Except for affordable resort locations, you can rest and have a relaxing time, which is why they call it.
So how do they get more information on Refuel?
More information. I would like. There's 4 bullet points.
Seth,
do 2?
Can
I do 2 out of 4?
We need to edit Matt's script.
Really?
Just send them to the website.
Okay, the website is
Visit Refuel Retreat for more information about our upcoming retreat in Keystone, Colorado, April 17th through the 19th. It's after Easter.
Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah.
After Easter, after
you've been refreshed by the resurrection, refreshed by the retreat.
Then be refreshed by the Rockies.
That's a good little tagline.
Here we go. Please don't use my name.
Taglines.
Hey guys and Katie, please don't read my name. After almost 3 years in my very first church after college, I have just been, for all intents purposes, fired. I met with the senior pastor last Wednesday and was told that at the end of the church year in April, the church would be restructuring and the new structure would not include a paid youth pastor. My wife is due with our second child in June, and we are currently looking for a new place to minister, but are trying to figure out the best process for breaking the news to students. Any advice on how and when to tell students? Thanks for your wisdom and sharing your experience. I'm a rewinder, and your podcast has helped a great deal these past few years. Thanks for all you do. This is a rewinder from one of the Carolinas.
So there's a north and a south.
There is.
Yep. Well, I think that as incredibly difficult as it is to hear this, as you break it to your students, I think you want to, at least, I don't really know what you want, but to protect the church and to set the church up for health. And obviously, if they're restructuring, it stands to reason that church is going through some difficult times, or there might be something. And so you want to be able to break it to them clearly, directly, and do so without any bitterness, without any, and the church sucks. And of course, you'd never say it like that. But if your heart is not in the right place, you will not be able to fake it.
Tone comes through.
Tone comes through. And your heart comes out. So I also wouldn't do it like I can't remember what month they said it's happening, but April. I wouldn't do it, 6 weeks out. You know, I mean, maybe it's 3 or 4 or 2.
Okay, let's say you're the senior pastor and I'm the youth pastor, and you've just told me that. Don't you think at some point the pastor says, and I'm going to take responsibility to communicate it? Do you
Yeah,
leave it
that
to
would
the
be
youth?
great.
Do you leave it to the youth person to communicate it that we've just restructured and we've cut out the?
Well, I have never elected to have somebody speak on behalf of me, so that would not.
Well, I'm asking the wrong person.
Yeah, exactly.
You speak on behalf of everyone.
I'm the man.
You're the youth ministry
That's
man.
what I'm trying to say. I am the youth ministry man. I get
I
10
do
hits a week on my blog.
I do think there's wisdom
I'm
in
the
having
man.
the announcement and your last day closer rather than further apart.
Right.
I don't think there's a magic number, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But I do think a few months is way too long. And obviously the next day, hey guys, tomorrow I'm moving away. That's not
See you
good.
later.
So there is a right time, and I do think it leans to the shorter. And I think if you can control the language, maybe even if there's an objection to that, write something that you could say, hey, I'd like to read this to the students so that I can be in control of that language, but get it approved because you don't want any spin or any malice or anything to come in there.
You want to leave, especially if you're looking for another youth ministry job. Not especially, you want to leave well no matter what.
Yeah.
But it sure helps you. Hey, Josh.
Well, real quick though, I just want to say, all joking beside, I think what you said was great. To have the senior pastor, if that person is willing to step up and say something and own the decision, I think that's great. So.
Yeah, plus it'll be the first time they've been to your youth group, so that's awesome.
Is that real laugh?
I
sounded
didn't know what was
like a
happening.
fake
Did
heckle.
that sound like Dennis?
All right, here we go. Youth Ministry 360. Kids, I just jump in.
Just jump in.
It's called
Brand new Bible study curriculum from Youth Ministry 360, the Elements series called
Could
The
you a little
Building
faster, please?
The Building Blocks of Faith,
diligent.
downloadable, Bible-based, easy to teach, and you can grab one lesson for free right now. Go to ym360
One lesson for free.
/elements. Yeah, the holiness study you can get for free. youthministry360.com/elements.
Okay, I'm going to have
That's
Youth
holiness
Ministry 360 send this guy the elements.
Oh, yeah.
So he gets
So
something.
is it all downloadable?
Now, all downloadable, yeah. You can just
So
click it,
send
get
him a
it.
code.
Speaking of downloadable,
Send
there's another
them.
place
Get
to
it.
get
Another
downloadable
tagline is
resources.
born.
You're welcome.
So many things this show could be done.
What was that? I was trying to be witty and it didn't
Here we
work.
go.
That's all right. We try.
What were you guys talking about?
Use my name, Albert.
You, as usual.
You guys were talking about me.
This is from, please don't read my name on the...
It was, the plan said,
Youth Ministry.
youth student tent or something
Yeah.
like that. And you had torn, I'm telling your story, but that's what I do best. You took a piece of the paper off to be like, how cool is this? We have a youth ministry tent. And before the thing was even finished,
Yeah,
it was too nice. It became tent free.
Yeah, it
became the
adult tent.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
That on the blueprint, it said Youth Ministry.
Wow.
I torn that
But the
off.
same thing was true of the student center. That the student center was going to be for the students, a place where they were going to feel safe and they could connect and hang out, have a good time. But as soon as the building was open, there was this frantic fear of, are we going to use it 99 minutes an hour every day? And so now, you have adults all the time. On Sunday morning, you have the parking ministry hanging out in the back half, and I know I haven't even been there for 6 years.
Well, there is a there's a piece
that
of
happen.
stewardship there. There's a piece of groups don't own buildings. I do think there is a suck it up piece,
Sure.
and I think there's a grieve piece.
Right. I
All
agree.
right. I'll go the opposite direction just for fun.
Great.
Wait a minute.
I think there is a leadership
There's
problem.
no opposite of that.
There is a leadership problem here, and the leadership
Just a
problem
different take.
is not with the senior pastor; it is with the youth worker.
Oh, goodness.
Here it is. I think the
So
youth
suck it
worker
up.
is at fault because the senior pastor made a decision without even thinking about the youth ministry, and that is a serious problem. That means that he or she, senior pastor, is uninformed, that the youth ministry is completely off of their radar, and that they would never even gave it a moment's
Too siloed.
thought. It's completely
Too siloed.
siloed. It's completely invisible. It's completely... So I would say there's a leadership problem, and that is your leadership problem, not keeping the leader informed. If the senior pastor knew about the life change and the growth and the momentum and the practices and the student development and they would have never done the move that they did. So
You need to hire
just for sake of conversation, I want to play that card.
Totally disagree.
I know.
Disagree.
I thought it'd be fun though.
No, totally
Just
disagree.
threw something out there without any conviction?
No, he has conviction,
it's
but I
reasonable.
Here's the problem, though. and it makes you look bad because
I agree.
You are on the radar, and they still ignore you.
Well, I was going to say this decision could have happened at your church.
It did.
With you
every day.
and Katie running junior high and Kurt,
And
who's
you
a great
have your elevator
pastor.
speeches for Rick and the once a week emails.
Sure.
Yeah,
Your
so I mean, I
grease
think
in
you
the
came up pretty
wheels.
strong, Josh,
Yeah.
nailing this guy. Because as you were saying that, I'm going, this
It just doesn't
exact
work.
thing
It's just not
could happen at
practical
your
advice.
church.
Well, and I would immediately...
Yesterday and tomorrow.
but as,
It's happening right now as we speak.
as you're reading, I am thinking to myself, crap, I need to do a much better job of
Now,
keeping my senior pastor in the
Good
loop
principle.
tomorrow morning.
Good principle.
It is.
Yeah,
That is,
I mean,
it is a
that's-
great principle.
That's worthwhile to think about. I mean,
I just wanted
you know.
to stir the pot.
I was just
don't know.
protecting
You're
our
fine.
buddy here.
Yeah. You're fine, just messing.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Okay,
you're right.
but here-
Don't drop the mic. What now?
You
But
can't
there is
offer
a team
advice
player
without any
element
passion.
because it is what it is at this point. So you, at this point,
You make the
your
best of it.
attitude, your heart, everything,
Absolutely.
now it goes into this different mode of, okay, we're part of the body and we're going to figure
Practices
this
are on
out.
Tuesday,
and,
and right.
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna be all in and all on board. And we've learned that even when these changes come down, that sometimes they're experiments or
They
they're
are.
short-lived. So
Yeah.
getting upset or going crazy over a decision that happens today
Yeah.
when who
It will
knows
be
6
gone
months
tomorrow.
from now
It
what's
will.
going to happen. So
Well, and isn't it great that this is happening? That because the church is growing, right? I mean, is that why this
Sounds
change
like it,
needs
yeah.
to happen?
Yeah,
that's
and I
a
also
cool-
love the fact that, I mean, I love the guys bummed out because,
Yeah, you don't want to be a pushover.
yeah, I like the fact that he's bummed because he cares about his ministry so much.
Absolutely.
And,
I think he should resign over it.
Matt's answer for everything.
oh, I already know the title of this show. All right.
Don't say my name. You already
I
gave
know.
the title.
That is.
all right.
At least don't say my name. We got other questions we can't get
Yeah.
to, and we've hit our time.
Put a resignation on it.
Matt,
We're resigned to wrap this one up.
here's what we know to be true. We love each other.
we do.
Absolutely.
We enjoy each
Lord.
other.
True.
Yes.
We love doing this podcast
We do.
because we have so many people
I love
that
it.
they write in and say thank you for doing it. We care about them. Many of them are bruised and wounded, and there are no easy answers for the journey that they're on. Often, you guys, and we've all done this because we've all worked in the same offices together. When you're pissed off, you can walk down 2 doors and share it with somebody else who gets it. Many of the people who are part of our community here, they can't. They have nobody to
Two
walk.
doors is the
Well, they walk in.
Yeah.
They walk in through this door right here.
There you go.
Yes.
Through the
The
garage
garage
door.
door.
There it is.
That's
all right.
That
That's called
and the show
quenching
right
spirit,
there.
people.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's beautiful.
I got it on both ends, and I have the one who
What's that?
loves Jesus right here.
Hey,
Number
I would like to say on the podcast that I've started a new blog called Imitating Christ.
Cha-ching.
Check it out.
All right.
There's not a whole lot of cha-ching.
Love you guys.
But there you go.
See you next
Check
week.
It out.
Bye.
the other
It's the best blog
dead?
out of everyone
There's
here.
no way
That's
anyone's
right.
even listening at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
people are
the
listening.
most humility, imitating Christ. That is.
Imitating humility.
It's
Let it
still
run,
recording.
let
I
it-
just want to keep making fun of it.
You're making fun of yourself. Shut it off.